All right. Let's get her going. Alrighty. Welcome in, folks. Oh, this is off center again. Yep. There we go. How you doing? Toaster, waffle, father the milk. I'm back, and I have the milk. I promise. I don't know how my camera got out of whack. I must have bumped it. There we go. It's better. Right, this way. Want to get it at least kind of centered. I think I'm on the last Alexander raid. Heard there were 12, not including Savage, and this is the 12th. Yes, there are 3 groups of 4 raids. Every patch cycle, they come out with 1. Or they come out with 4 of them. So I believe the last one's like Soul of the Creator, I think. I forget what it's called. But yeah, you fight Mr. Alexander himself. Time for more funny voice time. Hello, Doppel. Yes, it is that time. Soul of Creator. Yeah, okay. That's a cool one. There's a particular part that actually explains why a cutscene went down the way it did, which I'm sure you'll notice when you play it. Yes, I did want to do the pipe bomb so cool meme, but I forgot what it was called. Because I've only ever seen Waffle talk about it. And then when he said it in chat, I was like, fuck, that's what it is, and I quickly changed the title. Yes, so last time we left off at a bomb explosion. We were literally like, yeah, we found the bad guy, and we stopped the bomb, and everything's cool, and he was like, you stopped one of my bombs, and then a whole bunch of people probably died. So that's unfortunate. Yeah. Do I fight a mini Alexander inside of Big Alexander, like in that cutscene? You'll see. You'll see. There was a cutscene that happened where something happened that was not explained, and it's gonna get explained. What is this YouTube link that you've sent me? What is this? You open up, I'm gonna open up Edge. Because I don't want 90 tabs to open. Alright. This is 2.3 million views. I've never seen this before. I think you've sent it to me before, actually, that I think about it. There you go. Now we have an answer. It's up slightly. Pipe bomb. So cool. Alright, so yeah, last time we found the bad guy and we watched a terrorist act happen. Well, we didn't watch it, but we were made aware of it. And yeah, that's bad. I'm pretty sure the thing we have to prove now is that Professor Hairbrain was not knowledgeable of the terrorist attack. So yeah. Been in the soul queue for 10 minutes, that'll happen. I think the longest I've waited is around like an hour. No. I think it was around 30 minutes. And that was really just like, I'm just gonna queue into this, and if it pops, it pops. I'm gonna do something else while I'm waiting. Because I just wanted to get it done that night. But yeah, usually if it's like more than 15 minutes, I don't bother. Wonder how the man got the bomb in the thing in the first place. Well, he did say he is the creator of this machine in the back. I don't know when he would have... I don't know if it was there from the beginning, and it was always supposed to explode, or if he found an opportunity to sneak it in there later after everything had gone down. I assume that's going to be part of the thing we learn. Complaining to get into the raid. Sometimes that's how it is. All right. Let's get it going. Oh, yes. And after this, for those of you who didn't see the Discord notification, proof to fight this? Sounds good. For those of you who didn't see the Discord notification, after this is done, after we get to a stopping point in this, we are going to be playing WWE 2K23 with a bunch of crazy custom fighters. And I spent a while getting there's an in-game mode called Universe Mode, which is pretty much just a simulation of like you get to build your own show and do whatever it is that you want to do, and it'll just automatically create matches for it. There's like rivals and stuff, and there's like different championships you can set up. It's really cool, and ever since I discovered it, I really wanted to try it out. And so we're doing it after this, because why not? 24th of October, 9:11 a.m., the Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. Good morning to you, Miss Naruhodo. Ah, good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings? What are we... Hang on. Time out. What are we doing here at this point? Like... Are we still trying to prove that Hairbrain is not on the hook for killing Odie Asman? Like, haven't we kind of proved that already? Didn't the bomb just explode? Yeah, apparently the bomb exploded and then we've time skipped to going into trial the next day. So I don't know. I assume they're about to tell us, like, here's everything that happened after the bomb exploded. But yeah, we've had a bit of a time skip here. I hope so. I should be. Even I, with nothing left to... Oh, God. Good morning, my dear fellows. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here. Why, naturally. A true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'll see you later, then. Anyways. Now, Professor, really need you to remain calm in the courtroom today. Last thing that happened was an hour later we learned the horrible truth. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we've apparently gone right into trial after that. I don't know how much time has passed and what has happened. Yes, do try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again. Yes, I will. I realize it was a mistake, but my dear fellows, I must interject. Oh, you're still here, Mr. Sholmes. What's the matter? Surely you've overlooked some praise, have you not? To be cast in my direction, Sorry, I don't follow. Must I spell it out? I, the great Sherlock Holmes, the greatest detective of worldwide acclamation, arose at some ungodly hour to be here now. First thing in the morning, a miracle, you must agree. Well, if I must agree, then... As you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. Iris had to employ her full gamut of tactics. She pulled the covers off, shook me, poked both cheeks, punched me, and kicked me from the bed. She pushed me down the stairs and broke my Microsoft Dinosaur CD, cut me up all over my body. She poured a boarding cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestirred. First thing in the morning, it's 11 a.m. Hey, look, all right? I get up at like 2 p.m. if I can swing it that way. So I'm feeling for Sholmes here. He's pregnant as Naruhodo the father. Afraid not. Oh my, Iris has been busy. Iris doesn't have it in her to go that far. She's too nice. I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist, one who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea. I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory. Is this Gregson? Sorry to cut in. Oh, yeah, it is. I am waking up at 7 against my will every day. Oh, yeah. I've gotten up at 5 a.m. on the regular to go to college, and I hated it. And it was always a struggle. Fuck that garbage. I will never do it again. Oh, Inspector Gregson, good morning. Gregson, my dear fellow, why the grim expression at this delightfully early hour? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because I've been confronted with a grimmer expression, eh? Dear me, are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor? What? What? I don't know. Or Professor. Anyway, here's the paperwork you asked for. What paperwork? Ah, I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling it may prove useful. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the hoops I had to jump through to get this brought out of the archives. Excuse me. Hey, Timothy Randy. Whoa, this game. Hell yeah. Can we get a shout out for Timothy Randy, please? Is this your main account, actually? It might not be. I don't know. This might be your alt. Anyway, shout him out anyways. Oh, you like these ones? I have fun making them, so I'm glad people enjoy watching them. Oh, it is your main account. Okay, cool. Thank you for shouting out the main account. I appreciate that. But yeah, how you doing? Yeah, we've been cracking away at this for a good long while. Oh, I should move my camera over. Otherwise, I'm covering up my lives. No good place to put the webcam, but that's just the way it is. Yeah, totally. If you wanna just chillax and listen to me lose my voice while you slowly drift off to sleep, that is more than okay. Happy to have you around. Appreciate the support. The autopsy report, you know it's gonna be useful in the court case. Oh yeah, this is gonna be like an 11th hour fucking piece of evidence of like, oh shit, here we go. It's the professor's autopsy report. That mass murderers who killed 5 members of the aristocracy. He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps. And he was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here. I'll send subs next stream. Hey, no worries. You don't gotta spend your money here. We're just happy you're around. Killer's autopsy reports. As for the mass murderer, known as the professor, was tried and found guilty by closed trial 10 years ago. Okay, exactly what he said. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector. Let me read that real fast. Wow, we have a lot of evidence. Jesus. Wow, okay. Not a lot of fucking info here. Condemned prisoner, blank, redacted for confidentiality. Pseudonym the professor, death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th of June. Courtney Stevens. Huh. Can I spin it? No, this is a just a text file. It's not a 3D model. I spin this one? Actually, I didn't examine this. Aha. Oh, there's a key we need. Okay. So if we find a key at some point, we can open this up. Okay, that's interesting. Alexander Dited? Nice. Did you see the part that I was talking about? Of it explains the previous cutscene? Oh, I should examine this as well. Because real face is inside the mask? I'm hoping so. I'm predicting that it's in there. It's going to come up later. But I don't know for sure. I want to see what this says. There's a little metal plaque here. Look. Did we ever find out the thing Shamsworth key was for? Also, no, I don't think I caught it. So, in the part where it summons the 4 spheres, did you go into one of the spheres and go into like inside of Alexander? Because if you didn't do that, then you didn't see it. Gonna be bomb guy watch? Maybe. There's a little metal plaque here, look. Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery. You didn't go into the sphere. Okay, yeah. So remember that that cutscene beforehand where like you were trapped in a time bubble and Alexander was like getting ready to hit you with the fucking laser and then the time bubble randomly stopped and you dove out of the way? Do you remember that cutscene? I think it was the one right before that raid. Yeah. So if you go into that bubble, you actually go to that time in that cutscene and you kill a bunch of robots that are causing that time stop, and then that kills the bubble. So you go back in time and save yourself. It's real cool. Yeah, I recommend next time going in there if you ever do that raid again. It's really neat. Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery. It seems rather ironic, doesn't it? But clearly, Mr. Drebber really was a very talented scientist. Okay, is there anything else to look at? Nothing on the bottom? No? Okay. Camera. Oh, we got the piece of broken glass. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything here. Can we examine the bird cage? We can. Made of wood. This part that's broken here, that's interesting. Let's take a look at this. Ah, look here, Mr. Sato.
Oh yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height.
Yes, from the height at which the balloon was flying down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters.
Leaving the man inside tragically dead.
Okay, cool. Didn't the camera have a slide in it? Oh, yeah, I should check that again. Thank you for reminding me. Let's take a look at that. Let me look through this way. Ah, here we go. Oh, look, the cover came open. Hey, Zero, how's it going? Media is cute, I like her too. The cover came open.
Yes, now there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, you see.
I think it's just like girls in this game who have guns, that's fair. Perfectly valid. Something wrong?
There is no plate. It's been removed.
Ah, what a pity. But I suppose if you think about it, this wouldn't be the actual camera that was used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't the actual person. Though we never have found a photographic print of the executed convict coming back to life anyway.
Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course.
Poor Susato-san, she looks devastated. Your address there is a pipe bomb in your mailbox. Completely a joke, I'm referencing stream name. I got you. Thank you for clarifying, though. Never know. Getting my sleep schedule right, and you stream when I sleep? Yeah. That is unfortunate, because I know I do stream in the evening, just because it's kind of when I'm available. And a lot of people go to bed by the time I end stream. So they miss out on a lot of the stream, but you know what? That's okay. Oh, there's blood on it. Oh. Okay.
What a wonderful machine.
You really love contraptions like this, don't you?
Oh yes, anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible.
Almost irresistible, surely.
Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart.
That's worrying.
Yes, Father tells the time by the rumblings of his stomach now. He's given up having a watch.
Or Professor Mikotoba. We're not gonna talk about this? You guys hear about the 70-something-year-old man that got killed in a shootout by the FBI? I think I know what you're talking about, and yes. That was wild. I like how there were so many comments like from friends and family of like, oh, he was the nicest man. He would never do anything like that. And then his fucking Facebook profile is like him in full tactical gear with a fucking AR-15, and it's like, really? Come on.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo.
What is it?
A ketchup stain. What the fuck? Somebody's very messy eater. On the bellows just here, there seems to be some very dark red stains.
Yes, you're right. It looks like blood, actually.
Oh my.
I'm sure it's not what you're thinking. Okay. But no, I wonder why it would be on the side of it and not anywhere else. That's very odd. Posting literal death threats towards buying on Facebook. Had been visited by the FBI, told to knock it off. Posted at least one picture of himself in body armor with a gun, with another threat towards the FBI this time. Yeah. People don't understand that, like, you can't threaten people with death on the internet. It's a crime. People get away with it a lot of the times because they're anonymous and they can't be tracked. But if you just do that shit on Facebook, yeah, the fucking... your local national security agency is gonna get involved. They don't like that. Also, I will admit I want to have gay sex with Thancred. Yo, wait till you see him in, like, Shadowbringers. People call him Dad Crid for a reason. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything new that we got. Autopsy report, yeah, okay. Alright, get back into it. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector.
Yes, much obliged, Gregson.
Our lowly lot at the yacht are just doing what we can. In the shadow of the great Detective Sholmes, of course. Well then, Professor Harebrain, this is it. Today we're going to lay all this to rest at last. Toaster, I most certainly have a bomb in your mailbox, for real, for real. I'm completely joking. CIA, FBI, AAE, I don't even know that one. China and Russia, please don't arrest me. You just gotta put /S at the end, and then it's sarcastic. He's just so hot, bro. Hey, he fucking gets it done, man. He has a reputation, and it is not ill-got. Today we're going to lay all this to rest at last.
I wish you the best of luck, Professor.
I suppose he'll be in there today, will he? Drebber.
Yes, we expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness.
As a witness? As a witness? What? He tried to blow up 2 locations and succeeded 1 time. He's a criminal. I guess he's being in the process of being convicted, so I guess he's a witness right now, but geez. Weird. Yeah, you do have it in a mailbox somewhere, but I wouldn't be able to tell you where. We didn't have a mailbox for a while. We live in the country, and there actually was no way, like, we didn't have a mailbox that was just on the side of the road. We got everything delivered to my grandparents who live next door, who, like, we just went over there to get our mail every time, you know, anytime we wanted to get it. So we actually didn't have a mailbox for most of my life. It's only fairly recently that we actually installed one. Or, I don't know if we installed one or they just bring it to our door, but I think we have one. Oh, no, we do, yeah. It's right by the, you have to go down the road. It's in, like, a community mailbox. Like, one of those big units. I forget, does this game have the 3-day limit like the original game? No. I'm pretty sure they've broken that, right since the beginning. Where it doesn't have the, like, investigation, trial format. They seem to have dropped that with Spirit of Justice, and it seems like every game after that, so... which is good. I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just 1 day. I really owe you both so much. Counsel and the defendant. The trial's about to resume. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once. Miday's boyfriend actually Alexander now? Because, like, damn, that's a hot couple. Kinda? Point is, the Canadian Secret Service didn't knock on your door, get a mailbox, or we shoot you. Yeah, the, CSIS. Canadian Secret Intelligence Service. Can we get a shout out for our site, please? Dragon Girl and Hot Giant Castle Robot. It's complicated. And it's about to get more complicated, you'll see. This is it then, the final chapter. Funny, my heart's racing a little. I've not felt this before, actually. This strange foreboding. As if something's going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters. Finding the truth. Bomb man put a bomb in the courtroom. It wouldn't be the first time a courtroom has been exploded. There's actually a precedent for that. 24th of October, 9:30 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Yeah, Waffle knows what I'm talking about. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Harebrain, here present, who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed? Oh, there he is. Not Kazuma. I'm a little drunk, so I'm gonna draw now. Sounds good. I know, me and Waffle have been sharing a brain cell recently. It's bad. The prosecution is ready, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. I doubt it's Kazuma. It seems too easy. I know what you're saying. They've dropped a lot of hints that it's him, and I'm like, is it really that simple? That it's just him? I don't know. I feel like this game isn't that complex with its clues, so like I think maybe it is Kazuma, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not. to think that all the Hornus in the chat hive mind birthed me. Yeah, you came from Mathalum, you planted the seed and it grew into you. As promised, Lord Van Zieks has his apprentice with him, his apprentice with memory loss.
If I may, Lord Van Zieks.
Yes, my lord.
There appears to be someone standing at your side.
Ah, yes, my apprentice and assistant. I did read what you said, yes. I'm not going to say it on stream, but I did read it and I did laugh. Plant a seat in me anytime. Unfortunately, you're both bottoms, so... It's the classic tragedy. The classic gay tragedy of two bottoms. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity of this case rise considerably. Oh my god. Are you fucking joking me? As if it couldn't get extra enough. Wow. Okay. Alright. I'm into it. Woo. Woo. Yeah, he's got a sword, and they've got a fucking dynamic duo going on here. I therefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial. He's gonna smash it and suffer 0 cuts and no standage. Yeah. Was it a katana or a straight sword? It looked like a saber, like a cavalry saber. But it's hard to tell. He did sheath it like a katana. Well, I mean, you can kind of sheath anything like a katana. Yeah, did they practice that? Was there a rehearsal? I like to think they really worked on that for like weeks on end of just like, alright, I'm going to take the bottle out and then I'm just going to gesture towards you. And then that's your cue to cut the cork out. And it would be great. And then it's just like hard cut to them with like 50 smashed bottles of wine. Just covered his like total apartment. And he's like, okay, this number 51. 51st time's the charm, they said. That's my headcanon. The smooth running of liquid refreshments by the look of it.
The way he holds himself. The way he...
Oh, excuse me.
The way he moves. It couldn't be anyone else.
But he's still suffering from amnesia, so there's really nothing we can do at the moment. Stop getting shafted by your opponent, I'm trying! Did they draw the blade forward and put the tip into the sheath to sheath it like a traditional sheathing? Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's intentionally like a katana because they're trying to make... That's another clue that it's Kazuma, as they're currently bringing up. Got into number 100 and I thought they high-fived and said first try. I like to think it was a high five, but like Van Zieks never high-fives anybody and the masked guy doesn't know what's going on, so it was a very tentative like, alright, I'm gonna put my hand up, and if he takes the high five, then that's great. Otherwise, I'm gonna put it on his shoulder. I've been told this is what the kids do as like a congratulatory thing. Let's just see what happens.
I know, but... Oh, this is so very hard.
It appears the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday.
Oh yeah, Masked Man turns into a handshake. Like, oh, okay, yes, no, that's fine. That's what I meant to do.
I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question.
Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly.
Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today. Are you ready and willing to proceed?
Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty.
I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearing.
To take a man's life with a conjuring trick, it is against the magician's code, not to mention the law.
Any fake scientist should feel the wrath of God, if you ask me.
We have to listen to what's there on both sides of the fence. And then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all.
I don't know what this guy's voice is. It's fine.
All parties are ready to proceed. You may begin, Lord Van Zieks.
Before I do, my lord, there is a report I must read to the court. Oh my god. Jesus. These two are too much.
Yesterday at the Great Exhibition Grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case. The super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed on the experimentation stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons.
It was... What? An explosion?
Yes, it's an outrage. Yes, I heard this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithers and the wreckage reduced to ashes in the flames.
I have here a photographic print of the scene taken in the wake of the explosion. Oh, well, you can clearly see that's where the hatch opens up. Okay. Whoops, I didn't mean to hit enter on that yet.
It shows what little remains of the machine.
And if this game will let me wear Prowl's cute cat ear hoodie. I know, it's a shame.
Yes, a terrible business.
He did it to destroy the evidence, did he?
That Anik Drebber.
The court will take this print as evidence, counsel.
Geez, more evidence. I think this is the most we've had in the Chronicles so far. I think the last case of one might have had more. I think it might have had 3.5 pages.
Late yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial. Ow. As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity. Indeed. A most unfortunate state of affairs. However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that, we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and who ultimately caused its loss of control.
Objection!
Oh, as Lord Van Zieks rightly says, this is a very different trial now. In this world, would wearing fake cat ears be the Makote equivalent to blackface? That's a great question. I'm inclined to say yes. Maybe they're different ears. Maybe they're not cat ears, but they're like fox ears or something. There are actually fox ears you can get in the game. I have them. You can get them in Stormblood. The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Asmund died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters.
Miss Counsel, if you please.
The engineer, Mr. Anik Drebber, and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Asmund. So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant. Trials of racist Lalafell? They are filled with evil, so... that does track.
Thank you, counsels. The positions of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated. Lord Van Zieks, summon your first witness, please.
At once, my lord. The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Anik Drebber, to the stand. There he is, this fucking weirdo.
State your name and occupation for the court.
Name, Anik Drebber. Occupation... hard to pin down, I would say.
That black monocle?
Yes, why do I feel as though I've seen it somewhere before?
Oh, you too. I had exactly the same feeling myself. Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case.
Professional hobo, basically.
That's their sort of waxwork marble, is it? A most extraordinary sounding business.
Are we gonna fucking just skip over the time bomb that he almost blew us up with? There were a lot of witnesses to him trying to do that. But that has no bearing on the trial, I assure you. Leave it from your mind.
You're familiar with the public experiment carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago. The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration.
Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there?
It was you, Mr. Drebber, who this is the wrong scroll. This is the wrong. I know I didn't tell you, but like this is the incorrect one. No, the other one. The fourth one. The fourth from the right. From the right, thank you. It was you, Mr. Drebber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment. Or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement?
Yes, I constructed it in precise accordance with the blueprints, but that's all.
And the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure.
An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last.
Assistant, this is the art of Renosuke I commissioned last week. Get me the right scroll. Don't let him see it.
What?
Good gracious. Do you mean to say that the experiment was modified? Is that your belief, sir?
Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up.
Objection!
But we've already established the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection!
You've established nothing of the sort. All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of stage trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility, nothing more.
But...
We've procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witness, you will now give your formal testimony about the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration at the Great Exhibition.
Understood.
The kinesis machine.
I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago through Mr. Asman's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. I love the smile that he makes when he's in this pose. It's such a good, like, shit-eating grin. Such a good, good model. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash head first into the crystal tower. A terrible accident, I grant you. I fucking hate that raid. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow. A body double? That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something has moved when in reality it hasn't. It is a basic conjuring principle. The deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with the fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines?
Incidentally,
I don't know what that voice was.
the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Asman has no twin siblings. It's my understanding that this witness is well versed in conjuring artfulness. Such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims. Indeed, the construction of what by all accounts must have been an extremely complex scientific machine.
Whatever do you mean? Why are some of his words highlighted like this? Is that supposed to indicate his tone being weird?
Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber.
Indeed it did, my lord. As a swindler, you preys on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how. So did Mide and her man end up becoming their own ancestors? Yes. As I understand it, that is effectively what happened. Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic, but crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic in the field.
Investigation of the witness's workshop attests to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for young talent in science there.
Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves.
If my hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation with sufficient skill. Sounds like the new Genshin update. I don't know how, but sure. Though I may have sold the secrets of some deceptive wiles to sniveling, talentless scientists in the past. Yeah, it's pretty wacky. I know what you're talking about.
Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was
An unfortunate accident, or, of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by misuse of the science? Okay.
Counsel for the defense? Your cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Okay. So, let's see. He provided me with the blueprints and I constructed the machine to its precise specifications. There was no truth. Let me press this.
Hold it!
It's clear that you have both scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes along. But your implication is that I furnished the machine with some trickery, I think. It's a possibility that we have to explore. Unfortunately, though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come. So there's really nothing left to explore, is there?
It appears that the kinesis machine was fitted with a timed explosive device of some kind.
And there's nothing left of that device either. Not a single shred of evidence remaining, I hear. He must have planned all this from the outset. But in any case, it's abundantly clear that the experiment couldn't have been a trick. Yeah, there's a big hole in the floor that everyone's kind of ignoring. Did the victim have a twin? While the spectator saw the bird's cage appear over the heads and crash it first in the crystal tower. Fatal accident, I grant you perhaps science in which machine was built was flawed somehow.
Hold it!
The wind-up horse font minion is kind of fucked up. It is, isn't it? It is weird. Especially, like, as you go through the story, like, that Horshafont's death is pretty important to the Warrior of Light. And it's weird that they made a wind-up version of a deceased person. Yeah, you turned him into a marketable plushie after his death. Very odd. So you were already acquainted with Mr. Asmon himself? Not really. By chance, I'd seen his name mentioned in the papers, that's all. But I had no interest in his private affairs. Even if he was an unscrupulous investor, it was no concern of mine. As long as people pay their bills, I take up my tools and construct what they ask for. Why did Mr. Asmon approach you in particular, then? Who can say? I presume because my name is associated with excellence in engineering. Not to mention excellence in fraud. Let me style on you for a moment. Get fucked, hard to gauge, but the point is, all I did was construct the machine according to the blueprints I was given.
In other words, the kinesis machine was built on solid scientific principles.
Yes, you might say that. Professor Harebrained certainly has a mind like no other. He does have the moves. Alright, here. Excuse me. Of course, that's it. Mr. Asmon was a twin.
I already said he wasn't. Shut the fuck up. Ow. Perhaps my learned friend wasn't listening earlier. Mr. Asmon had no twin siblings.
No, I heard you before. But the thread of hope hadn't quite left me.
The demonstration could have been a trick if there was somebody who looked sufficiently like the victim. But Dr. Scythe absolutely ruled that out as a possibility.
It is beyond question that's the art again. This is the art again. You gotta stop. I know you love it. I love it as much as you do, but we do need the actual information, please. Thank you. It is beyond question that the victim himself, Mr. Asmund, did move from the stage to the Crystal Tower. God, why did they make him so thick in that art? I asked for it, that's why, but Jesus. The fingerprints found at the scene attest to the fact.
So it can't have been orchestrated using someone who looked identical to Mr. Asmund, then. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, no, nothing. Just that the idea of someone who looked identical to the victim is playing on my mind. Okay, I know what he's going for, but I don't know how to prove it. Because I think we need to get this open first.
Hold it!
Let's see. It crashed head first, you say? According to the many witness reports from those there at the time, yes. Were you not there at the exhibition grounds on the day? Style complete. Unlikely. I rarely leave my workshop. Yet another of your unique inventions was found at the scene. Well, it was the unveiling of a machine I'd labored over for many months. I saw it clearly with my own eyes, the birdcage plummeting headfirst into the tower. What a surprise. I believe the victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, wasn't it? How would you have come by that information? Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspapers, you know. Fucking infernal recluse is my new stream persona. I'm changing my name from the Glorious Freelance to the Infernal Recluse. According to the reports, 2 injuries were apparent on the victim's body. Yes, he'd been stabbed in the chest by a screwdriver believed to belong to the defendant, and he had broken vertebrae as a result of a fall from a considerable height. Correct. My learned friend has been doing his research, it seems. Do we know which injury was the fatal one? Sadly not. Forensic science is not yet at the level where such things can be determined. I'm changing my name to Omega Wa Femboy. That's pretty good, actually. What we do know is that the victim died having sustained both injuries at some point during the experiment. And since he was found in the birdcage with his neck broken, it's obvious that he fell from a considerable height. Omega Femboy? One femboy to rule them all. But then if there's somebody on the internet called Alpha Femboy, then you have to fight. That's the rules. Only one of you can survive. I suppose that's hard to deny. Or either you have to fight or you have to fuck. You decide. Maybe both. Or fuse. That's also an option. But having a part of Waffle in the name feels illegal. It would be weird to go from calling you Waffle to Omega. I suppose that's hard to deny. Okay, just press everything. So you understood the science, did you? If you think about it, having a kid is fusing. True. I don't think we're quite at the point where Mpreg is a real-life possibility. Not in the slightest. Oh, right. As I've said a number of times, I'm an engineer. My job is to manufacture according to the blueprints I'm given. I would be inviting manifold problems if I foolishly allowed my brain to digest the ideas behind them. I could be accused of stealing those ideas, for example. No one's tried to breed Bussy as hard as I have. I hate that I read that sentence with my own eyes. Don't like that. But how is it possible to construct a machine without really understanding the principles it relies on? Style complete, get fucked. Well, you're practicing law without really understanding the principles it relies on, aren't you? A very good point.
Stand up for yourself, Mr. Naruhodo.
The point is, the experiment resulted in instantaneous kinesis taking place. As such, the science must be sound. Yes, and really, experimental results are all that matters when it comes to proving a hypothesis. Forget how many people advertise shit in Limsa. Oh yeah, Limsa is a shithole. It's filled with ERPers and people advertising nightclubs, and it's fucking insufferable most of the time. But goddamn it, if it isn't the most convenient city to be in. The market board's right by the Aetheryte. Which is really nice. A market board and a retainer summoning bell. So it's just... Where else do you go? That's why everyone's there advertising shit, is because that's where all the people are. He's certainly very sure of himself. Seen 3 Discord links and 2 Twitch streams in this cutscene alone? Yeah, it's awful.
What do you think, Miss Naruto?
Well, now that the machine has been completely destroyed by yesterday's explosion, it's going to be impossible to argue its authenticity one way or the other.
What if we're unable to establish that it was a piece of stage trickery rather than genuine science? We'll have no grounds on which to demonstrate Professor Hairbrain's innocence.
Both Mr. Asman and this man in the stand tricked the professor and used him. They took advantage of his naivete and his unbending belief in his work, and I won't let them get away with it. Seeing as the professor is an old friend of Lord Van Zeek's, what on earth must he be feeling towards Drebber? Alright, I think this is the point where I'm going to investigate that, keyhole on the side of the mask. I realize I have the screwdriver. We might be able to use this to pick the lock. But we'll see if that comes up. If this does anything. This lock, it does look very strong, doesn't it? There's definitely no way you could remove the mask yourself if it was put on you.
What a terrible way to treat someone, even a convicted criminal. Convicted. I put accent on the wrong syllable.
Ryunosuke is the lock-picking lawyer. I know, it's starting to make me livid, actually.
Miss Naruto, please.
I mean, just think about it. Imagine if you had an itch on your cheek all of a sudden. You'd be utterly helpless.
Well, yes, that's true. But I'm not sure that warrants quite so much anger.
Oh, right. Sorry. Okay, that didn't help. Okay. That's still, we might still be able to present this and claim it's the double. Anything else? Pretty sure this body's not fake, considering it's got a hole in it. Oh, this might come up later since this is the same consistency as the glass we have in our evidence to prove that this is from the same spot. Because didn't we get this from out in the folds of the clothing of the Professor Waxwork? Yeah, there we go. So we can use that to prove that that's where that glass came from. If you do pick it, you have to start the segment with, "This is the lockpicking lawyer, and what I have for you today." Okay, so I think then yes, we can present this head because I think we have enough corroborating evidence. Let's try it.
Objection.
Fuck. That wasn't it. Okay. Is it the glass? Drop a save, actually. Maybe it's the glass? I can try. Typically, I believe when you get a to be continued, it refills your lives.
Objection.
Fuck, that's not it either. We definitely have to present something. Because we've pressed everything and nothing happened. Oh, unless I have to present on this. For the hole in the picture. It's not a contradiction, though. I do have the save, so we could try it.
Objection.
No, that's not it either. I'm gonna reload the save because we're losing a lot of lives here. All right, chat. I'm taking suggestions. What is the thing here? I mean, the blueprints constructed the machine. There was no trick. Did he have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. Crash headfirst. Oh, is it this? Because it wasn't head first. It was on the base. Is this the contradiction? This seems like such a pointless point of order. It is a contradiction, but like, who gives a shit? He fell feet first, then one broke his neck. That's fair. Yeah, so I guess it's this then.
Objection.
Wow, okay. I didn't even consider that. I thought it was for sure the body double stuff, but I guess that's not going to come up yet. We've examined the birdcage that crashed into the crystal towers ourselves. Crystal tower, singular. As you can see, the cage, which is a wooden construction, has sustained damage in one particular spot. Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the crystal tower. That level of damage is to be expected, surely. I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage. Ow! All the breakages in the wood are at the base of the birdcage, not the top. What are you saying?
That's the opposite of where they should be.
That's right, my lord. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the crystal tower, yet the damage is at the bottom. The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were two birdcages in play that day, which were at some point switched. Switched during what wasn't a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery. I'm not just down bad, I'm down worst. That's accurate.
Good gracious, explain yourself, witness.
We examined the facts. There's only one logical conclusion we can draw. The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that it crashed tail first into the tower.
Objection.
But multiple witness reports claim it fell head first. Oh! The birdcage materialized in the sky next to a balloon flying over the stage, following a spontaneous explosion, at an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level.
Which is approximately 18 meters.
Thank you. It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the crystal tower in the ensuing deflagration. Witness reports amid such chaos are notoriously unreliable.
Objection.
But the victim's neck was broken.
Objection.
This is very Dual Destinies, all the objections flying around. He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it would be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed. Probably swap the bird cages, the one with the wax dummy and the one with the corpse. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Style complete, get fucked. A riveting scientific analysis of events from the prosecution there. Though, to be even more rigorous, you would have to say it was only one vertebrae, actually. It wasn't quiet for long.
I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Van Siegs. This witness is clearly a swindler and one who deceived a personal friend of his.
If you're going to establish this deception, do it right.
Sorry?
I feel like that's the undertone here. Yes, and there's one more point. The defense appears to have forgotten. Just gotta fucking pull out the schmoves all the time. I know. Look at him go. Doesn't even stay still. It obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth very plainly demonstrates. What?
It seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Drebber, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth.
Of course, we must treat the matter scientifically after all. Nearly had him there. Look at him go! The kinesis clearly took place because there's nowhere else 30 feet high for the birdcage to have fallen from. The balloon?
Hold it!
Duh. What do you mean? Well, before the demonstration began, the victim was alive on stage in front of the audience. Yes, there are lots of witnesses who saw Mr. Asman on the experimentation stage, that's true. And the victim's neck broke as a result of an impact following a fall. Logically, therefore, the victim must have fallen from somewhere. The balloon that exploded. Jesus, that's the third time. I love looking at it, but really, I need the actual information. Thank you. The balloon that exploded was at an altitude of 60 feet. The point of impact on the tower was 30 feet up. That difference of 30 feet is therefore the total distance the birdcage fell. And there's no other location from which the cage could have fallen that distance if it didn't drop out of the sky. Ergo, the victim himself must have been beamed from the stage into the sky above the crystal tower.
A trenchant scientific analysis.
Trenchant? I have no idea what that means.
Dear me, every time I hear it explained, it sounds increasingly plausible.
Oh, yes. It's all very well thought out.
Certainly all the spectators on the day saw it. The birdcage plummeting 30 feet through the air, I mean.
Irritatingly, yes. It's either we present the balloon or we present the photograph of the hole. But I think in this case it's the hole, because we're trying to prove that it got switched around. So I think this should work.
Objection!
Fuck! Okay, it is the balloon. Alright.
Objection!
Oh, it's not the balloon either? What? Well, then what the fuck is it? Oh shit, I should have saved. I thought I had that in the bag. Oh, is it this? Is this what I'm supposed to present? Is to show that he could have fallen from here to here? The floor? Fuck it, I'll go for it.
Objection!
It is that one. That's questionable. I feel like there are better ways to prove that, but okay. I don't think this is really the best way to prove this contradiction. This is a diagram of the experimentation stage and its surroundings. I guess it's the height differences that is the main thing. This is the only way to prove that there's somewhere 30 feet up. We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in midair before falling down into the crystal tower. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there is one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. The same distance of 30 feet. No.
Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward. Go ahead, counsel.
Yes, my lord. Of course.
You will indicate the place to which you are referring on the same diagram. The alternative location of which the birdcage could possibly have fallen the requisite 30 feet.
Right here.
Take that!
The place I'm referring to is here.
But that's where the birdcage would have begun to begin with.
Which is exactly the point, my lord. Yes, the birdcage was in the machine on the stage. But what we must also consider, is the height of the stage itself.
Go on, counsel.
It turns out that the experimentation stage was built at a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, you'll see it's at about the same height above the ground as the balloon was above the crash site. When the experimentation got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam. At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assume there to be a void underneath, this birdcage and the one seen by the audience would have fallen almost exactly the same distance. Why do I keep doing that? Once again, my lord. Ow. This all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but two.
Objection!
Oh, my learned friend has no evidence that the stage had such a contrivance in its design. Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the Kinesis machine itself, it's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at the photographic print of the scene following yesterday's explosion. Really? So they're gonna bring up the evidence I already tried to present in the presentation of another piece of evidence to prove it? They've done this before where you've had two possible things to present, and both of them are the correct answer, and they just didn't do it for this one. That's annoying. Look at this graph.
Good lord, the metal grill that formed the floor of the machine is undone.
Yes, most likely blown open by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated immediately. Needs to be explained in a specific order. Well, here's the thing, is that even in other games, when it's like there's two possible pieces of evidences that prove roughly the same point, they still do them in an order. So they'll have like one and then it leads to the other. But like they're closely linked. And for whatever reason, they just didn't do that for this one. I don't know why. I guess they just really wanted to prove the height. But he also said like there was no location where he could have fallen. And it's like, I feel like the hole in the floor would have been perfectly valid to present, but whatever. Mr. Drebber. It was you who built the Kinesis machine, which means that it was you who built the two bird cages that were used to carry out this deception. Whether Professor Harebrain's hypothesis is sound or not makes no difference, because it's the construction of this machine that matters. A machine designed to take Mr. Asmon's life and lay the blame firmly at the professor's door. Something that could only have been carried out by you, Mr. Enoch Drebber. Ow, ow. Grr. I like to think he makes the noises that the turrets make in Portal. Got this again. Or they go, ay. That noise. I like the theme for the boss in the raid before Alexander, Cruise Chaser. Oh, you mean Forward and Back, the song? That's a classic. I love that song. The Alexander raid is pretty good music, but yeah, Forward and Back, and I like the one for the Alexander boss as well. I forget what it's called. I just always remember the lyrics, Sonic Boom! And then I don't remember any of the lyrics. But I like that song too. If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertions. Yeah, he has an assistant now. It's the guy we saw before, but now he's here. Okay. You didn't even, like, sniff it. You poured it and broke it. What a drama queen. The prosecution would like to crush the defense's arguments slowly, but surely. What? Your argument fails to hold water. On 2 counts. 2? 2? Cool little Kingdom Hearts reference there. Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the kinesis machine. Every relevant member of staff from the exhibition is attested to that.
And I believe members of Scotland Yard have also been on watch duty at every public experiment.
2.
In other words, Mr. Drebber had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages.
Objection!
But I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to.
The nonsense with the crossbow. That doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. Oh, the forensic investigation team's report is unequivocal on that point.
Ah.
And the second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have wanted to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so.
The masked man is Kazuma, is Van Ziest trying to build a Japanese man harem despite being racist to Japanese people. Hey, just because you're racist to a specific race doesn't mean you can't also fetishize them. It's weird as fuck, but it happens oddly frequently. A motive? I have to think of everything myself.
I have here a Gotta stop showing me this. Other one, please. I have here a contract provided by the witness. What contract is this, Lord Van Zieks? The contract into which Mr. Drebber entered with the victim, Mr. Asman. It reads, Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remunerations from government grants or other income. 30%, certainly very favorable contractual conditions.
But there was one very important provision bolted onto that clause. What provision?
Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right on condition that both contracting parties are alive.
He's not looking at a contract, he's staring at the working commission of Renosuke's bare cheeks. He's had to ad-lib it because the masked man keeps showing him it, and it's just like, okay, clearly you're not going to give me the right one, so I'm just going to do this by memory. In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract would become null and void. So you see, I had nothing to gain from Mr. Asman's death, the diametric opposite, in fact.
Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime. I need a doctor. Help! In short, the possibility of Mr. Drebber having done as you suggest is nil. It seems the defense's assertion was somewhat wide of the mark. Lord Van Zieks, you will submit the contract as evidence, please.
Okay. Read that. Stop giving up. Look, that's what happens when you take psychological damage, alright? That's actually what psychic damage is in TTRPGs. Mr. Odi Asman hereby has entered the contract to provide Mr. Anik Drebber to fund labor and materials for the construction of super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remunerations from government grants or other income. Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right on condition that both contracting parties are alive. O. Asman E. Drebber. Okay. Nothing in here stands out. I feel like these signatures are gonna come up. That seems very unique, but we'll see. My brother isn't texting me back what time I need to pick him up from the airport tomorrow. So he's gonna play fucking time roulette. Cool. If somebody doesn't tell me when they need to be picked up, then I'm just doing my regular schedule, and if that fucks up with theirs, too bad. Learn to communicate. It's true. If Drebber had no opportunity to switch the birdcage under the stage with the one in the Crystal Tower, couldn't have done it. And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been.
There is one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however.
Doesn't tell me when to pick him up and he gets mad at me. I'm gonna be so pissed at him. I mean, fuck him. If he's not gonna tell you when to show up, then you're obviously not gonna show up at the right time.
There were 2 bird cages. The prosecution is unable to deny that.
Ah,
So I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Naruhodo. And I've no doubt there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths too.
Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer.
not give you the flight number? Doesn't tell me shit. Well, that's his problem. Yeah, like, you gotta set up some sort of schedule, but if he's not talking to you, that's his problem. He's in uni to study communications? That's ironic.
The defense has no rejoinder to offer.
Good. Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built, and instead my reputation is defiled. But the prosecution's counter has set the record straight, I think. It's impossible that I'm the culprit.
Objection!
Why are you surprised that I would object at this point? I literally have no other option to say other than to say nuh-uh. At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only one birdcage. Yet now we know there must have been two. In other words, there was more to the demonstration than we realized at first. I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit. Get to the point. The stage demonstration was constructed and set up in its entirety by you, Mr. Drebber. Therefore, it's inconceivable that you had no hand in the events that transpired. So if circumstances mean it's impossible that you could have carried out the crime yourself, it points to the fact that someone else was involved.
Someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting?
Well, yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice.
Objection!
I've attempted to try and get to the airport is in early though. Kind of want to stop by some retro game store to see how much money I'll buy my old Game Boy Color, Game Boy, and DS games for. Probably jack shit, but you might get lucky. An accomplice now. Well then, I presume you're prepared for what's to come. Now that you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else of the most serious crimes. If these accusations turn out to be false, then make no mistake. The prosecution will demand an equally serious punishment for your slander.
Well, counsel, do you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter?
Oh, I do here. At the moment, this is little more than a hunch on my part. I don't know for sure if Drebber had an accomplice, or even if he really is the culprit here. One way or another, though, I have to make my position clear, as a lawyer. But what's my stance going to be? Did Drebber have an accomplice, or not? Name the accomplice? That's impossible. I have no fucking idea who it could possibly be. Unless it was Asmon himself. Most of them go for decent prices online, namely both Pokemon Silver and Pokemon Fire Red. Oh, that's true. Pokemon's usually a good bet. Also, what happens to this kid's head? I like how his name is just Bohemian Boy. Oh, wait a minute. Courtney Scythe. Isn't it Courtney something else? The autopsy report examiner? Courtney Stevens. Did she change her name? Oh, the Balloon Man. Oh, that's a good guess. I didn't even think about that. I don't know. He seemed pretty innocent last time, though. They didn't know where that balloon came from. He was pretty adamant that it wasn't his. My initial guess is Odie Asman. But it could be Balthazar Loon. Saw his goofy fucking mug and immediately thought about him. I can't imagine he had nothing to do with it. Just look at him. I mean, that's fair. I'm gonna try Odie Asman. And if it's not him, then the only other one I could think of is Balthazar Loon. And I only have 2 lives left, so at that point, if I'm wrong, I just game over. And we restart. We'll actually drop a save just in case. Game over in this really means nothing. You just restart with full lives, but I feel bad. They all do look pretty goofy, it's fair. Alright, let's go for it. The defense is ready to name Mr. Drebber's accomplice. Somehow the 2 bird cages must have been switched. Everything points to that. Yet according to the coroner's report, that's not a possibility. Ouchie. Now that inconsistency itself is a clue.
Counsel,
My lord?
you have received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must now ask you to identify this alleged accomplice by name. So, your answer, please. Who do you claim to have been Mr. Drebber's accomplice?
Not Strongheart. Odie Asman.
Take that!
Nope. Fuck.
Who is this person?
Someone intimately related to the crime, my lord. And someone you surely wouldn't say you don't know.
Yes, thank you. I'm aware of the person, obviously. But on what basis do you claim felonious involvement?
Okay, that was not the answer.
I'm sure you simply slipped up and pointed to the wrong person, didn't you? There's no other explanation.
No slip-ups this time, please, Counsel. Who do you claim you were Mr. Drebber's accomplice?
Alright, Balloon Man. Unless... Oh, shit. Was it the forensics team? Because she was the one who said that it couldn't have been 2 different people. Yeah, the coroner's report is what they're going off of. So was the coroner's report falsified? Ah, shit, I didn't consider that. I only have 1 life left. Let me reload the save. I want to try it. The fact that they brought up the coroner's report really changed my mind on that. Let's give it a shot.
Take that!
Nope. Oh, wait, this is different. The name of the person in question is... What's wrong, my Nipponese friend? Truly, fear doesn't bind your tongue now. It's a little late for that. Of course, I'm afraid. After all, naming her in this capacity is definitely going to make waves. A lot of waves. I could very well turn every single person in this courtroom against me.
I'm sure we'll be alright, Miss Naruhodo.
Fuck, it is her! Shit, I didn't even think of that. Like, the last minute, the noticing the coroner's report. That's crazy. Thank you, Mr. Sato. I didn't even think that she could be in on this.
The enemy always appears larger than life, but you'll appear exactly the same to the enemy.
Yeah, it does make sense. Alright then, here goes. You've kept us waiting long enough. Your answer, Counsel, now. The person who colluded with Mr. Drebber in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Courtney Scythe.
What the blazes are you talking about? Dr. Scythe?
The head of the forensic investigation team and the coroner who conducted the autopsy of the victim. Wow, this is big. We know there were 2 bird cages, so who'd have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators, and the area was immediately sealed off. Then everyone, police officers included, were banished to make way for the forensic investigation team. This makes me think, is Strongheart in on this? Because it says that she's one of Strongheart's most closely trusted allies. So was Strongheart the one who orchestrated this to kill Asmund because they couldn't pin him down legally? Is he the big final antagonist of this game? Fuck, that would be crazy if that was the case. That would be nuts. When else could the switch have occurred? It can only have been in the team's presence. Because the forensics team is his big project as well. It's essential that the court determines exactly what happened following the incident. The defense demands that Dr. Scythe be summoned to the witness stand at once to testify. Oh boy.
You've got a nerve, lad. Standing up there, dragging the arch name through the mud.
Oh, it is cop. I know what voice I should give him. I didn't mean to.
I know the woman very well. There's no better dead room worker out there. How dare you call her a criminal?
Oh, my learned friend's imagination appears to be wilder than the East End at night. But the recklessness of your accusations aside, there's another grave problem with your argument. One which the prosecution demands you address at once.
A grave problem?
How dare you? Very easily, in fact.
Oh my word.
Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger? Oh, this is where the body double comes in. What?
Certainly, if the birdcage containing the body of the victim was exchanged for another, that cage must also have contained a body.
And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone even remotely resembling the victim have been reported. Which means there was no one, dead or alive, who could have fulfilled the role of a body double for Mr. Asmund. That's true. My argument is that there were 2 bird cages, then there must have also been one person inside each. But I don't know if I've got an answer to this yet, have I? What can I do to reveal how this body double stunt was achieved? Present evidence. You have a $50 Mega Man DS game? Which one? Very well, the defense will address my learned friend's concerns by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Asmund's body double.
Good gracious.
Star Force Leo is $50? Fuck, I have Star Force Dragon or whatever. I have all the Star Force games. Shit, I'm missing out. I could be several dollars richer right now. 40 to 50 US on eBay. Wow. Yo, the Star Force games. Also, I'm shocked you have the Star Force games. I never meet anyone who has those games, or even knows that game exists. Speaking of Star Force, when we get to WWE, I have to show you guys something. It's gonna blow your mind. Oh, it's your brothers? Okay, fair enough.
Good gracious, evidence? I do hope this isn't filibustering, Counsel. The court is expecting a name.
Yeah, 3 people in this fucking chat who played Star Force. Well, it's Waffle's brother, so like 2.5. Close enough. That's nuts to me. I played Star Force 1, 2, and 3 on stream, and it was great. I fucking love those games. I highly recommend them. They're real fun.
If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now.
The body double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means that any witnesses would only have seen them from 60 feet away. So who was it that appeared out of that explosion some 18 meters above the spectators? Aha! The body double inside the second birdcage was... I think it's this? I don't think we can present the piece of broken glass yet. I think it says.
Take that!
We know that the victim, Mr. Asman, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on stage. And therefore, he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contains something else. What's been described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the Crystal Tower.
Yes, Counselor, according to your somewhat elaborate version of events.
If I sell all of the games I have for the lowest price I saw on eBay, I should get around 380 US. That's not bad. And that body double inside the second birdcage was, in fact...
It's all right, Miss Naruhodo. You're ready for this. Just steel yourself and come out with it.
Thank you, Miss Usato. I needed that. As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was, as unbelievable as it may seem, that thing there. Why is it here? What? Has this been here the whole time? When did this get here?
Objection!
Open your eyes and look into mine, my Nipponese friend. I've fucking dreamed of this. Just do it. Now tell me, what are you playing at? Stand firm now, Rinosuke. This is the time to show your Japanese spirit. Ignore your erection. As the court will observe, this is a waxwork model. A model, in fact, of an infamous London murderer from 10 years ago, the Professor.
Objection!
You started by indicting the leader of the forensic investigation team as an accomplice in this crime. And now you've moved on to indicting Waxworks. Yes, that's about the size of it. But why? And why this waxwork? It looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible justification can you give? If you want to know why, ask Mr. Drebber. What? Just days before Professor Harebrained performed his public demonstration, Mr. Drebber abducted this model from Madame Tuspel's.
Did you say abducted?
And 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum.
Then
Then the timing.
Is this true, Mr. Drebber?
I like to think that he also just makes, like, random modem noises. At first I couldn't see why Mr. Drebber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. But now the reason is clear. He took it so that he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Asman.
Objection!
Seriously, when did that get there? Are you suggesting that... Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? Oh boy. That the witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist. That he did so in collusion with the country's finest coroner on a public stage in front of a vast audience. And that, to effect the deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really to believe that this far-fetched tale, or believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide?
Objection!
Rinosuke just kind of brought it with him with the justification of trust me, bro. Pretty much. Wait! Yes, if you put it like that, of course it sounds implausible. My lord... Oh, Jesus. I need to speak, if you please.
Go ahead, Mr. Foreman.
Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement. Oh, God. Not this.
Pretty good in that case. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings for the court to hear now.
Guilty!
Well,
Guilty!
love it.
Guilty!
Give me a fourth.
Guilty!
Number 5.
Guilty!
6.
Kill me!
Dope! Love it. Cock!
So, as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus.
I knew that was going to happen.
We shall get through this, Miss Naruhodo, as we always do. And uncover some new truths along the way, I'm quite sure.
Yes, I agree. going to have to appeal to the jurors as usual and see if I can persuade them to change their minds.
First, we're now embarking summation examination. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman?
We are, my lord. I don't know what that guy's voice is. I'm just winging it.
Very well. In that case, I ask you now to state clearly for all present to hear the grounds on which each of you has decided that the defendant is guilty of the crime of which he is charged.
Alright. I think this is where the piece of glass is going to come into play.
I've known that woman for years. She'd never be accomplished anything.
Oh, we're going in a weird order. Alright.
Total nonsense to think these two would ever be conniving with one another.
Oh dear, this is most troubling, but surely... This is most troubling, but surely the waxwork the man stole has nothing to do with the coroner, is it?
I have had my own problems with members of the police. I do not trust them much.
I've seen no rigorous proof that this waxwork is ever inside the birdcage. It's conjecture.
Accusing someone without right evidence is not a proper job, is it? I won't have it.
Alright.
Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems the introduction of this waxwork model to the proceedings has polarized opinion.
Given that its face is obscured and its build in no way resembles that of the victim, I can only applaud my learned friend's temerity at suggesting it as Mr. Asmund's body double. Yes, the applause is deafening, and yes, I know it seems extraordinary. But that's the point. That's why I have a strong feeling it's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realizes.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
I can't explain why at the moment, but I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used, why it had to be this model.
Really? A reason why nothing else would do, you mean?
Yes, and I'm convinced. It's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim.
Well, if that's the case, we must prevent the trial from ending prematurely at all costs.
Yes, agreed. I have to find a way out of this.
If you are ready, counsel, you may proceed with the summation examination.
Yes, my lord. Alright. I'm gonna press the alchemist guy immediately. Or scientist, or whatever his fucking deal is.
Hold it!
Ow! But you claimed the whole instantaneous kinesin demonstration was a trick.
And I did, but there's more than one way to put a rabbit out of a hat, isn't there?
Sorry?
I grant you, given that this cage appeared from emission and explosion, there'd have been no need to use a real person. But if a waxwork model had been used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim.
I'm not sure exactly how much criminals are governed by decency.
The point is, if you're going to make a claim about that waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, it's just not science.
I suppose we should expect nothing less than a logical argument from a fellow of the Royal Society. That perhaps means his mind could be changed if we manage to present suitable evidence.
Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside that birdcage. Can I produce that or not? Yep. Yeah, it's the glass for sure. Actually, I have something I'd like you to see, sir.
Oh, I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats. Though given your jet black outfit, I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here.
So you don't trust anyone in black. Looking in the mirror must be very trying. I was gonna make that joke, but was like, you know what? I'm gonna click through, because I bet the game's gonna make that same joke, and lo and behold. Bingo.
Take that!
Easy.
What's that? A piece of glass? Oh, it's unusually thick for glass.
Yes, it's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket on the waxwork. As you say, it's not ordinary glass, though. It's very thick and clearly made for extra strength. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone had that thought, including the writers. Much like the special glass that was developed for construction of the Crystal Tower.
A crystal tower? Holy smoke!
Exactly. The centerpiece of the Great Exhibition where the very incident we're talking about took place. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through a window of that special glass.
From whence this small piece originated. Is that it?
Precisely. So, what do you say? Now that clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you.
Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it.
Oh, he doesn't see color. Good for him.
In light of what you showed me here, yes, I feel obliged to change my position on the matter. In that case, juror number 4, you will amend your test statement now, please. That piece of glass leaves me in little doubt that the waxwork was indeed inside that birdcage.
Alright, so I think we can press him against someone else now. I think it's 4 and 5 actually, but let me double check. Here I'm trying to link the waxwork to the coroner, which I think I can do with the evidence, or the autopsy report. Okay, so I think 4 and 5 is the way to go here. Let me save just in case. She's saying that without proper evidence, this is bullshit, and you know what, that's fair. Or, well, actually, no, because I'm accusing, she's mad that I'm accusing the coroner without a good cause. Okay, so I think I have to, I'm not there yet with Mr. Scientist Man. I know it seems a little far-fetched to think that the waxwork model of the professor was in the birdcage. But on the other hand, it explains a lot.
If there really is a reason why the particular waxwork had to be used as Mr. Asman's double, we must do everything we can to make sure the jurors understand it.
Truth is, I'm sure that's the key to this, but it's the most puzzling part of it, too.
In that case, you should see what additional information you can glean whilst trying to change the jurors' minds. If you can read a book while he's eating a wisecracker, Miss Nodohodo, then I'm sure you can do this.
Right. Yes. I think. Alright, let's try pressing this guy.
Hold it!
The order of things seems to have changed around here for some reason.
I'm a copper, lad. It's a copper's discretion to bend the rules sometimes when needs must. What's wrong with that?
Where do I start?
I've been working at the yard for 40-odd years.
That's even more than I thought.
We've only had a Metropolitan Police Service in town for 70 years, you know. Metropolitan, that's what I said. Of course, times have changed. The public didn't trust coppers back when I started. It was rough.
Hang on. Yeah, you know what? I am gonna deny that one. That's a little spicy. That's a little too far. Where is he?
We had to fight crime. We had to fight to win the public's trust as well. And when we did.
Yeah, that's not a good permitted phase to add.
Forensic science was in its infancy too, even more than it is now, and she spearheaded the revolution.
Dr. Scythe, you mean?
That's right, about 10 years ago now it was, when I was still the youngest Bobby on the beat.
Oh, a young man of 54?
That's when she started making a name for herself as a top-class coroner.
Yeah, I agree with the sentiment, but yeah, I don't think I can allow that one in. I'll allow that one in. ACAB.
And now look at her, head of the forensic investigation team, and a woman no less. Well, you won't hear me complain. It's what we all dreamt of back then, I tell you.
Did you tell me without holding that gun in the air?
We were all out to uphold justice, lad. Full of vim we were, full of vim.
That's coming across loud and clear. Okay. I'm just gonna press everybody again. But we're only just starting to understand this case. What are you reading there, sir?
And thine there's medicine sold upon street was caught in 2 days flat. That's mere policing for you.
That's really not relevant to this case, is it?
You're wrong there. Because it was Dr. Scythe in charge of examining the bodies. And it was evidence arising from her work that led to the arrest of the scoundrel responsible.
Oh.
That's right. Oh, that woman is at the forefront of this country's fight against crime. The idea that she's somehow involved in this murky business is a load of old tosh.
I thought it was up to me to press the jurors, not the other way around. Did Automod learn to not censor me saying I want to have hot? I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to let that fly. I don't want to have audio of me saying that out loud. Ooh, excuse me.
Hold it!
I think after we're done this jury part, I'm gonna have to call it for Great Ace Attorney because my voice is starting to go. Why would you assume that?
Well, quite simply because that unsettling swindler has no relationship with the woman, does he?
True, as it stands, we don't know any of any connection.
Oh gosh, but it would be delightfully romantic if they were somehow to have a mutual interest in the waxwork.
Romantic?
A woman of society such as myself views everything in terms of relationships, you know. That's all I have to do for fucking fun in this place.
Well, you learn something new every day, even if you don't want to. There are too many examples of me saying that in person VC and via text. Yeah, at that point, it's basically your tagline, but still.
One might wonder about a possible relationship between the defendant and this coroner woman. Or perhaps between the defendant and the handsome persecutor just there.
This woman may be more astute than I've been giving her credit for.
If that's the woman's stance, then perhaps demonstrating some connection between the waxwork and Dr. Scythe would be enough.
Yes, I agree. As soon as we have even a whiff of a connection, she'll be the first to know. Okay. Yep, that's you.
Hold it!
What problems, sir? What sort of problems? Let's just say we have run into each other on numerous occasions while I've been performing on the street. Right, I see. Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to our audiences. So we perform our great magic in parks, on street corners, and the like. But the police use any excuse to make our lives difficult. So, hello.
Excuse me.
Courtney S with a different surname. Yeah, I don't think we can prove that it's her, though, because we don't have a reason why her name would be different yet. I think we have to prove that her name was changed first before we can make that connection. You have something to say in response to that, Mr. Ottermole. What are you calling a mass murder? Ah, sorry, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you look like him. Panels of judges are dumb as fuck. Yeah, the jury is never a bastion of critical thinking. I don't look anything like the man. You want to be locked up, Sonny? Thanks, Mr. Sholmes. Perhaps we could move on. No one is smart in AA? Yeah, that's true. Literally nobody. Except for maybe Emma Skye. She's pretty smart. I was really wondering if you had something to you wanted to add in response to what juror number 3 just said. Oh, that's dangerous. And clearly you do. Back in my day, back in the good old days, it wasn't like this. What was it like, sir? We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust, we did. And by Jove, we earned it. People respected us back then. Respected you? Huh. No one would have called a coroner into question in them days. The coroner's report was the hallmark of an investigation done right. Especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens... Bingo! We got it. Especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens put a name to it. She was the best of the best and the apple of the force's eye. Hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Who's Courtney Stevens? Do cops care about anybody's safety other than their own? True. There was a court case about that. Ah, sorry, got a bit carried away there. Stevens is Dr. Scythe's maiden name. Her maiden name? So that was before she was married. Of course, yes, silly me. It's Scythe now, isn't it? Stevens. I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently. Anyway, the point is, those were the great days of policing, not like now. I don't interrupt, sir. But do you think you could change your statement to include that name? Well, yes, I don't see why not. Got it. She was Courtney Stevens back when I knew her, of course, a legendary coroner even then. Alright, so... I think I have enough to pit them against each other, because I have the autopsy reports. We'll just double check here. And there's nothing to do with the coroner. Yeah, okay, this is enough.
Objection!
Yep. Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious. Do those statements do refer, counsel?
So, juror number 2.
Oh gosh, me? What can I do for you?
I presume that you heard what juror number 6 said in his statement. It's brought to light that the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Scythe, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before.
Well, naturally, as a woman of society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible. But oh golly, I'm afraid I fail to see what you mean.
Dr. Scythe's maiden name is Stevens, and through that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it.
My goodness, evidence, you say? How utterly enthralling.
Counsel, the court cannot overlook that last remark. I very much hope there is substance to your claim.
Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. The evidence that clearly links Dr. Scythe to the mass murderer known as the Professor. Yeah.
Take that!
I have here a certain autopsy report from 10 years ago.
A 10-year-old autopsy report? What relevance does that have?
It is, of course, from the autopsy of the person portrayed in the waxwork, the killer known as the Professor. You know that only 40% of cops actually like donuts? Look up 40% of cops for more info. I actually know what stat you're referring to. Which is the 40% of cops are accused of domestic violence, I think is the stat, or something like that. Bad stuff.
The that man was a capital offender, so...
That's right. This is the certification of death, a certification of death that was drawn up after the convict's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gives few details. But what's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens.
Oh my, Courtney Stevens?
Strike a light! It appears that the professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Scythe 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Mr. Drebber very deliberately stole the waxwork of the professor from Madame Tuspel's. A waxwork that doesn't, in fact, resemble the victim, Mr. Asman, at all.
And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between these events?
Absolutely. I'm sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind that the professor case is at the heart of a link that we have yet to uncover between Dr. Courtney Scythe and Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is all most extraordinary. We're surely obliged now to explore this further.
Got one. Quite right. We can't let this trial come to an end now. Now, while there's this cloud of suspicion hanging over the yard's best coroner. It wasn't like this in my day, but we're still here to uphold justice in the end. That's good. That's 2. Rinosuke is now a conspiracy theorist. Okay. So maybe we can pit 4 and 5 together. Just to check what 1 said. Alright, we'll save here and we'll try 4 and 5. I blew a bunch of lives in this this case already, so I have to be very conservative with my saves. Or very liberal with my save. That's the opposite of what I meant. Here we go.
Objection!
Yep, okay. I could do that. Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious. To whose statements do you refer, counsel?
If you could put down your corn for a moment, juror number 5.
Oh, you mean me?
You pointed out that it's wrong to make an accusation without evidence. But the accusation that the waxwork model was inside the second birdcage on the day in question is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrated to the juror sitting beside you.
Oh, is that right?
Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument?
I don't understand much besides Colonel Cobb, to be honest.
Of course you don't. I mean, she's like 12, so it's fair.
If I could interject here.
Please do, sir.
Now that this assertion of yours about the waxwork has been backed up by some solid evidence, it would be wrong of me as a man of science not to pursue the matter further.
There we go. Kernel Cobb, as a corn kernel. That's good.
Oh, well, me too then.
Sorry?
If this Brady gentleman says he's right, he must be. See, I wouldn't dream of going against Colonel Colbor or anyone who's got stuff in between the ears.
She uses the fucking corn. Where did they find this kid? Success! If you can call it that.
Thank you, Counsel. That will do. As a result of the summation examination, the jury's overall leaning has changed. 2 jurors now called guilty, against 4 who called not guilty. Accordingly, the court has failed to reach a consensus at this time. And the trial must continue.
We did it!
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Another wonderful victory.
Alright, we got there. Alright, I'm gonna save here because my voice is starting to give out. I can feel it. So I think this would be a good place to pick up next time. So let's drop a save. And we'll continue on next week. Take a bow and a drink. Thank you, thank you. If I ever do the vault and get in roulette and there's someone who hasn't done it yet, should I say enjoy the cutscene? I will say enjoy the story. Just because the enjoy the cutscene kind of gives a hint that something big is going to happen. There was actually a post about this on the subreddit recently. And people were just like, it's funny, but you really shouldn't say that because it might tip people off. And it's better if it's a surprise. I lagged out as you were reading it. Okay, yes, but we'll be back here next week to pick this up. So you two, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.